All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're stepping right onto the global stage to break down Match 14 of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It was an absolutely highly competitive Group M showdown, a phenomenal stalemate between Saudi Arabia and Uruguay.
Right off the bat, I want you to ask yourself, how exactly does an underdog disrupt a heavy tournament favorite? I mean, we see this dynamic all the time, right? In sports, in business, in history. But this specific match, man, it illustrates a textbook tactical pivot point perfectly. We're going to look exactly how a game that literally seemed destined to go one way completely flipped on its head through some brilliant strategic adjustments and, honestly, just sheer willpower.
Okay, let's dive into this. Before we get into all the emotional highs and lows, let's ground the narrative in the hard facts. We are looking at a critical Group M clash that ended in a hard-fought 1-1 draw. But you know what? That simple scoreline kind of hides a deeply fascinating tale of two completely different halves.
Part 1. The first half. The Uruguayan masterclass.
So Uruguay entered this match as heavy favorites, and well, they immediately showed us exactly why. They didn't just hold on to the ball. Their midfield completely, absolutely dictated the early tempo. Through this lightning-quick passing and just super fluid movement, they bypassed the defense and consistently created dangerous opportunities right there in the attacking third. It was methodical, it was controlled, and it was relentless.
And you know, when a team applies that kind of sustained, suffocating pressure, the dam usually breaks, right? That early pressure inevitably paid off exactly as Uruguay designed it. They opened the scoring with a beautifully taken finish for a completely deserved 1-0 lead. Now, at this point, you were probably thinking the floodgates were about to open.
But, actually, scratch that, here is exactly where the story shifts. Saudi Arabia didn't fold. No way. First off, they absolutely refused to be intimidated by the tournament favorites. As the half progressed, they really tightened those gaps and improved their defensive organization. And that allowed them to start sparking these sudden counterattacks, genuinely causing problems for the Uruguayan backline right before the halftime whistle. They really started to find their footing.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how we were essentially watching a classic clash of tactical identities. On one side, you have Uruguay's philosophy, right? Midfield possession and quick passing. Basically, control the ball, control the game. And then on the other, you have this emerging strategy from Saudi Arabia, aggressive pressing and lightning-fast counterattacks. It's all about absorbing the pressure, waiting for that one mistake, and striking with absolute speed.
Part 2. Second half. The turning point.
Saudi Arabia's second-half adjustments were just an absolute masterclass in disruption. I mean, they emerged from the break with entirely renewed energy. And that pressing we just talked about, it became ruthless. They didn't just wait for mistakes anymore, they actively forced Uruguay into uncharacteristic errors, completely shattering that rhythm Uruguay had built up in the first 45 minutes.
And all of that high-energy, aggressive pressing culminated in this absolutely electrifying moment, the equalizer. A blisteringly fast attacking move caught Uruguay's defense completely off balance, and man, the finish sparked these massive celebrations among the Saudi supporters. Literally in a matter of seconds, the entire momentum of the match just flipped completely.
Understanding a match like this is really all about momentum. We go from the kickoff right into a dominant Uruguay goal and then into those crucial halftime adjustments. From there, that explosive Saudi equalizer catapults us right into the final phase of the game, which was just a frantic finish. It's like a perfect example of how momentum swings like a giant pendulum in high-stakes sports.
Part 3. The aftermath. Frantic finish. So in those closing stages, both teams were desperately pushing forward, and while neither managed to find the back of the net again, we witnessed some truly stellar individual and unit performances. Saudi Arabia's defensive block was just incredibly disciplined and resilient, holding firm under some immense sustained pressure. But equally, you gotta give it to Uruguay's midfield. They were phenomenal, controlling possession and creating chances right up until the final whistle. Both units executed their game plans at the absolute highest level.
The cultural impact of a match like this reverberates instantly across the globe. Just listen to this social media reaction that sums it up perfectly. Saudi Arabia and Uruguay share the spoils in a thrilling Group M showdown. Uruguay struck first, but Saudi Arabia fought back to earn a valuable point in a match packed with intensity and drama. That is exactly how fans are consuming and celebrating these high-intensity battles today. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. With a highly valuable point shared between these two teams, how will this intense clash reshape the race for Group M? A 1-1 draw like this forces every other team in the bracket to completely adjust their math, and it sets the stage for a dramatic rest of the tournament. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those great questions, and I'll see you next time.